Hello there, this is Kate, and I'm in my nest, and I am so glad that you can join me right now. We're going to be doing some slow stitching, and I'm just want to update you on some of my current projects. I have just had some time, and it's just a wonderful thing to sort of have projects in progress and then be at the point of finishing some of them off. So I've gathered um, some yo-yos or Suffolk puffs today, some cottons and some braid in there. And here I just want to chat through the creative process with you because I started making this as a zippered pouch. I haven't even got the zipper, but what I need to tell you is that there's no zipper in this anymore. I did put the bright orange one in, but it was just too fluoro for the colors that I ended up having on here. So I'll just take you through. I've loved making this. Little bits of crocheted edging, a little bit of lace here. My favorite chenille fringe at the moment, a little bit of Rachel's fabric, little bits of everything, so you may not be recognizing it. And when I thought about it, I realized that I haven't got enough orange on here to pick up the fluoro orange zipper, so that made me feel very comfortable. And I've lined it, well, I had lined it before I put the zipper in and then pulled it out, but I have this lovely rose vintage fabric in there. It's quite deep, and I decided, oh, there's a little bit of, oh, there's a little crochet heart, because I was thinking about putting that on here somewhere. So this is to the usable stage, but I've got a couple of things that I wanted to do to finish off with you. And the other thing that I have today in the nest with me, it goes, these nests these nests. So for those of you who may be new, I call my vessels nests because that's how I use them. And I'm working on, this is now nest number 3 in my very, very vintage collection. So I'll stay on track for a little bit, but just notice that in the very, very vintage, I have been trying, not always succeeding, to stick to perhaps a more pastel palette, mainly pinks and greens. I've been inspired by heritage building, and but I do find that I'm having to have pops of my colour in. So hence I have, loved putting these pinks in. Here's a pot holder that I bought back from the States, and part of me is feeling that that will be the centre of that nest, but it's not down yet. Okay, so with that in mind, let's do a little work on this. I hope you've got your stitching or crocheting or drawing or knitting, whatever you are doing with you, your quilt maybe, and that we can have a little bit of relaxing time together. So what I want to do, and I've spoken before, is I just love having tactile parts where, what do I mean? It's all tactile, that's my work, but where my fingers touch, I want them to feel interested in what's underneath them. So that brings me to here. I have this piece of vintage dress that tags, and I've used a lot in my vintage, but it's still plain at the moment, and that's a major touch point for my thumb if I was looking at this, because often I look at my previous projects before I start to stitch. So I have brought down, these are Suffolk Puffs yo-yos that I bought from Beck in a kit, I think at the craft show, and I know it won't be those, not yet ready for purples, but they would work. The green is a nice pop, So I would consider this not enough contrast. So let's just have a little bit of fun. And these are stitched together. I've already used one of these, so I might just actually be efficient. And put that out there. So that's a possibility. The other thing I have with me is I got a kit from Zoe the other day that I shared, and these are little flowers, crochet sort of emblems that have been put together. I don't mind that. I'm actually going to stand up because that gives me perspective, but it does actually fade in a little bit. I've got, oh, can you see that? That's a larger size yo-yo, which has a bit of striping on. And of course, this envelope started with the inspiration of a stripe. So that's the top contender. No, not the purple. Liking that at the moment. Oh, here's a baby one. I think this is also from a Zoe kit. Oh, that's pretty nice. So that would be like a flower on a flower. And I still don't see enough of that around. There's one more in from the kit, which is this. But I actually think that might go better with my vintage colours. I'll show you a bit more about this in a minute. Okay, so what have I decided? Let's do, what do you think, everyone? I've got a circle here, circles here, means I would want to put something else round in this area, but that feels special. So let's do that. I'm just going to have a very relaxed stitching session. Can you hear that in my voice? The sun's back to shining, and I've done the washing. It's morning time. Did I say that? Done the washing. Been out to the shops. Dropped some things at the local salvos. So that always makes me feel good. If I buy something, I feel that I need to give something back. And I was actually quite proud of myself because I went in before I dropped, and then I picked up 2 things, and then I thought, Kate, you don't, well, I would have bought them if I loved them, but now I'm saying to myself, do you absolutely love this piece of remnant fabric? Because my whole room has filled up in the blink of an eye. I was telling Zoe and Missy and Kristen the other day that my my house is starting to look like I'm a hoarder, which I am really, but we don't call it hoarding, do we? We call it treasures. I'm blessed with such a wonderful husband that he doesn't even blink an eye. Like if it was me and it was him, I'd be saying, what are you doing? He just says, as long as you're happy. All right, look at that. I am loving that layer upon layer. So I put the little one on first, and we're going to go underneath. And I can tell this one is really vintage because it's starting to split, which for me only adds joy and interest. Okay, so let's get the stripes nice and effective. Let's tuck it up there so we can see it. Yeah, love it. So just have to find where my thread is. Now, the only challenge I've left myself is that I've got a lot of layers under here, but the beauty of doing this now that's together is that you don't have to go through all the layers. I can just go onto this frilly frayed dress, and I want I actually want these edges to pop up, so I'm just going around underneath it. You probably can't see this, and it's certainly not expert technique, but as long as I've got a bit of the yo-yo and a bit of what's underneath, I'm going to just go for it. Oh, I think I've got a sequin and I don't need that. And of course I could have just done it in one spot, but I'm not going to. There we go. So how did your week end up? I put week and end together then because it's the weekend here. Some of you have noticed that I didn't make a video yesterday. That was because I had such a creative day and I thought I need to just actually do some project work. And so it was such a special day. So I might do a couple. And so please don't say why you're doing too many. I just, yeah, I've got lots of projects on, and the feedback from you is that you like seeing what I'm up to. So I will share, but I'm not going to commit to what I'm going to share because I never know. Like just before I made this, I thought, what can you show as finished and in progress? And also share that process that the zipper is not on the pouch, and that's okay. Right, so there's the yo-yo. The other thing I want to do before we leave this piece is, this is a little plain for Kate. I don't know whether this is enough contrast, but it's variegated, so let's try. I feel like doing a set of cross stitch crosses. I've done them on all my pouches, but not recently with you, I don't think. Who would know? So this is where I'm going to do 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a big across stitch, and then a gap between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to come up the top. And again, this might not be the right way, but just the way I've worked out. Oh, and that one wasn't straight. But that's the rustic style. I've seen a number of us making more vessels and nests, and always excited. Thank you to some subbies who have mentioned me in when they've posted pictures. Oh, that's a shame. See, I was working on the side and they came out not straight, and I left a little bit there, but that's okay. it just needed some stitching, and that's how it's come out. And what will we do now? We'll actually, I'm thinking about, do I need something over there? I'll actually finish this off. I'll flip over to the back side so you can, well, the other side of this, and see. This is another wool blanket with a fringe that I just, for some reason, I've fallen in love with fringe at the moment. So that just makes me smile. So I will just do a stitch here and go through the layers in between, do a little stitch. There we go. This is a little bit plain under here, but I wanted sort of a mystery piece, but I don't want to waste. Actually, what have we got? I did bring some little bits of fabric down. We've got that there. I've got this. I think I'll save that for the other pieces, for the nest. It's not jumping under my fingers, so that's to be continued. How's our time going? Yep, I probably should move on to the nest in the Very, Very Vintage. So there you are, everyone. I hope, I'm going to keep going, but just that's, see, that just makes me happy. Put a project in there. Let these, if I don't like them one day, I can just fold them in. May look like a octopus. All right, so with that in mind, let's transition over to where we are with this vessel. I'm going to take this out for the moment. You can see the fringy. And the other thing I've done is deliberately, and I know some of you have asked about technique and many of you do it on a strip, I've left this open for the moment because I'm not sure whether I need it to, because I've got 3 nests sitting within each other, and I don't know whether I'll need to, you know, make this really rigid. So I like the flexibility of having that in there. So let's add, and again, the joy is you can never get bored, because I just go round and I think, where's a plain bit, like over here, and I think, what can we add now underneath that? I'm not deliberately trying to cover up all the blanket, but that's too much of it showing. So I brought down a couple of things. This is an old, oh, look at that. I could be using that in summer. I might do that now. In Roxy's, the summer proms. They've got butterflies all over them, and I hadn't even noticed. And this has got a nice little stripe. See, I hope you can see that I'm evolving. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at this, everyone. I just bought it and I don't even look. So this is a pillowcase that has been tied shut and has the strings. Now, can you hear Kate's happy voice? Because that is absolutely perfect. So I'm just going to snip here. I don't know whether you can see, but I've gone deliberately to this bit, and I want to tear. And then snip this off. Look how much material. So whenever you're in an oppie shop, as well as we're running out of doilies, I have to say, in my local area, so it's sort of opportune that I'm looking, making fabric strips, because there's the little containers are very empty. All right, so I've got that, and I wouldn't mind a piece of this stripy, and this is padded. It's obviously been well loved and well washed. The flowers are fading, which is the perfect thing for me. So this is true harvesting. See, I love so much making with you guys, because you can just so this isn't vintage, this is just well loved. Share the excitement with me is what I'm trying to say. So I've ended up tearing that just to get that out of the way. And I'd like a little bit now of this. And will it tear? We will see. It will. Oh, that's a very needed Kate's mug. Oh, sorry. My Zoe nest is crockery, and that's the sound it makes when I just throw something in it. Okay, let's do a little bit of collage. Got that one there, and I love the bits coming out. And where's my bit with the ties? And it's not so much the actual butterflies, but they don't hurt at all. Look at that one. So if I had my accordion journal, I would be just putting that and pinning it. But I sew all over the house and it's in a different spot. Okay, and did I tell you, Mum gave me this the other day. It's one of her fabrics from her drawer. So it happened to be, I mean, she's amazed, because she tried to give me all my bright oranges and pinks, which I still took. But I said, at the moment, Mum, I'm in the zone of sort of more, okay, this is what I want to do here in this little bit underneath the pink. We're going to I'm going to overlap like this. It doesn't matter whether it's straight or not. And I'm going to use, I'm not going to use those because that's a seam there. Where will it end up? Over this orange yellow tablecloth. I was working last night and ended up putting more yellows in than I had, because I thought it was looking a bit too pastel for me in my style. I know that you will be sharing the thrill of discovery with me. And these stitches aren't visible, but again, on this particular set of vessels, I am liking the gather effect. So that's just pulling tight deliberately rather than keeping it flat. And that's why when you canther over the top of it, you get even more texture, which is my style. The other thing I was noticing that this series, I haven't got to the embroideries yet. Usually I would have this full of harvested pieces, but ironically, I've got that one there. And you have to search hard to find another one at this point. The other thing, there's my mum's half slip. There's the label of the blanket. And now we have ties. Okay, where's the needle? So at this point, I would be saying, I love that I can still see the blanket, but I've got some more areas and I've got this tie that may get cut, but just is going to stay there, and with a hot pink butterfly. And then we go through to the other end, other side. And I say to myself, what's happening here? And the answer is not much. I've used this thicker bit of an unembroidered, what's the word? It's not tapestry, it's linen. But I like to use these down here a little bit because they do give a bit of bulk. All right, so, sorry, you probably heard me thinking then. I'm thinking that this has got a bit of bulk in it. And do we want the stripes? We want that, and we're just going to go in here. The needle's a little bit further away, so we'll just come over here and come down. And let's do, sicker than I thought. So I might just get it attached first. And then we'll see if we can be a bit fancy. So this project is a bit different because I am using some vintage fabrics, but as you can see, I'm also picking up some, I'm going to sneeze, sorry. Other bits and pieces, but I think when I was thinking about this, I thought, well, they've all come virtually as op shop purchases or gifts from my mum, the people I stitch with. I don't think I've got any Zoe kits in this one, but I suppose that's what I'm saying. I'm loving that. Well, even her kits are not new. Oh, look at that. So it's just I'm canthering, is that the word? Whatever. But just into that top level now. One more stitch there. And we'll come back over here, find out where we ended, and we'll just use this wool up. And we'll do some very obvious over, what's that called? Over stitching. Keep it down, and see this edge is curling and fraying. Love it. Back through and pull it. So I think that's probably a good little stint, because who knows, I might make some more videos even today, and maybe, yeah, I won't make promises, but I think a nice little chunk is doable for us all. So let's just put some, I'm not going to get carried away, but I've got on fire with ideas and thrilled about that new piece of fabric. This definitely needs to feature somewhere special. So let's just finish here with a harvest and think that those roses, oh, wouldn't that be beautiful? Where's my, look, this is, when I bought this, I thought this is a bargain. And how beautifully made. I'm not cutting this up at all, everyone. And if I end up, again, what I like is I can move pieces around from one to another, but I actually like that. So with some roses, which means I might end up, it's a shame, oh, maybe I'll do some more embroidery. Yeah, can you see what I'm thinking about? We'll work it out. All right, so that's my very vintage vessel. There's 3 of those. And what else do we do today? This, I have to find a name for this, because I love that I've got my joy pouch here. Here's joy pouch. Oh gosh. Buried. Glad you can't see all of this over here. But here's Pouch of Joy, joy pouch that I stitched in the States and brought back with me, and that inspired this one to be a zippered pouch, bigger. And notice this, everyone, like, yeah, the stitching actually strings you work, so keep that in mind, bigger rather than smaller. So that has turned into this. We added some vintage puffs here, a few little bits of wonky stitching, and my heart is full. It's been so much fun sharing my projects with you. Look out for more. Thank you so much. I feel very blessed to be with you. Bye.